one of the things we talked about earlier was the pilot impact and the reason we do these surveys. So we do these surveys every quarter, and they're not the most exciting, I will admit, but it is. They're very important. We spend hours going over these, and I'm not even joking. This last time we did, what I think we spent. Oh, I don't even know how many hours. How many hours did we spend, Matthias? Like 7?
Something like that. A whole Saturday, no, a whole Sunday we spent on this.
Yeah, it was absolutely it was really enlightening. But
User joined
to
your
give you an
channel.
idea, these are actually the survey results from the last survey, and they are where is it? They are pages and pages long, and we go through and we do our tallies and we do take our notes, and these are absolutely crucial because they help us determine what we need to be focusing on and what we did well and what we didn't do so well. Um, and what we kind of came to the conclusion on here is that overall we're doing really, really well. There's definitely some areas where we need to improve. One of which is kind of um, the stability of some things, and this is kind of a sensitive topic for some, myself included. Um, but so we released Crew Center V2 in August, and that was a bit of a rough transition. And hopefully most of you don't remember that. But the Crew Center, when we originally launched it, was designed well. It's easier to say what it wasn't designed for. It wasn't designed to do what we're doing with it now, or getting it to do right now. Um, it was really designed for more of a smaller VA, and that's fine. It's absolutely great, but it has kind of evolved and grown, as I'm sure you've seen if you've been with us for a while. Um, and it had reached the point where if you take a uh, let's say I'll use a terrible metaphor here. Okay, let's say you start off with a Cessna, right? You start off with a little Cessna 152, and you want it to go faster and do more things, right? So you add a glass cockpit, you add your heads-up display, you add a jet engine on the somewhere on it. um, I don't know where you add it, and it kind of starts looking like this monster, if you will. And then things start breaking, and so you add some speed tape because you can't use duct tape. You add some speed tape here and there, and then it's too heavy, so you put some holes in it to make it faster. And now you've got some gaping holes in places, and it just, I mean, it
Crazy one.
yeah, it gets tricky. Anything you do might break something else, and when the end result is something like the 7.8, and you start off with a Cessna, it's a little difficult to get there. And so the Crew Center V2 was one of those absolute necessities that we had to do at some point. And it was a little painful, it was a little rough, but we had to get through it because what we have now is, um, I don't even, I guess the best metaphor, whatever we have now is whatever the 7.8's replacement will be in 30 years. No, in the sense that we,
I think we don't have to talk metaphors here. I think we have the leading flight dispatch system of all VAs.
well,
At least
and it's really, I mean, the key fundamental is something more than that. I mean, yes, we have. I would agree with you, Matthias. We have an absolute fantastic system, but the key and the reason we had to do V2 was to make it a system that we could maintain um, for years. Quite frankly, something that we could continue working with for the next 5 to 10 years, instead of something that we'd have to keep band-aiding and fixing and tweaking and forcing to do what we want. And we actually ended up with a system that split up into well, a lot of different pieces. one of which being the Flight Operations System, or FOSS, as we call it internally. FOSS is kind of our version or our attempt at recreating Lufthansa's integrated whatever DO stands for. Matthias, can you help me out? Lido?
Give me 1 sec. Flight control check. Full left.
Okay. So
Right.
it's our version. It's our attempted version of Lido. It handles the routing. It handles the fuel calculations. It handles the flight plan exports. It handles everything for us. Really, it's our engine and dispatching system. And it's become kind of the one of the cornerstones of the new system. And it's what allows us to do what you can do now in the dispatching, which is actually see all the performance models and see everything that you can see everything that is going into making your flight briefing. And that's been really valuable both for us as well, because we can we have the ability to actually receive feedback now and say, hey, instead of, hey, this fuel number's wrong, which for us is like, okay, great. There's a lot of math that goes into this. It's going to be really hard to pin down what's going wrong. To, hey, I noticed my trip fuel is a little high or a little low. And then we were able to dive in a lot more in depth now and see exactly how that calculation was reached and determine if there's anything that we need to tweak a little bit.